all-time winners record, 12 including records, 7 conference wins so far this season. First, welcome Dalen Blakely. Dalen is walked out with his teammates. Dalen Blakely joined the team from Trenton Street and played in 15 games, starting in all 15. He is the team's best defender, while averaging 4.9 points per game, 2.4 rebounds per game, while playing 208.7 minutes per game. Blakely had a career high 9 points against Rochester College and Trinity District. He had a career high 7 rebounds against Trinity District. Ladies and gentlemen, Dalen Blakely. Next, we would like to honor Devontae Miles. Devontae joined the Bulldogs in 2017 and made an instant impact, averaging 15.7 points per game, starting in all 26 games his junior season. Miles was tasked with a new role his senior year, playing in 24 games, starting in 9. He averaged 14.3 points per game during his career and amassed 714 total points in just 50 games. For his career, he averaged 7.1 rebounds per game and 2.5 assists per game. He had a career high 15 rebounds against Great Christian and scored a career high 34 points against Scotia in October of his junior season. Ladies and gentlemen, Devontae Miles. And last we have Tyrese Searles. Ty is accompanied by his brother Agency and his father, U.S. Army retired Sergeant Wendell E. Searles, and his grandmother, Mary Hilliard. Ty joined the Bulldogs in 2017 and led the team in points per game at 17.2. He scored a single season career record, 447 points in his junior season. He was named second LTU conference as a junior, the first second-team player in LTU history. He surpassed his own scoring record his senior season, scoring 561 total points, while averaging a career high of 23.4 points per game. He is the third Blue Dog to surpass 1,000 career points, and he is the fastest junior player, accomplishing a season of 60 games. He scored a career high 38 points against the Warriors and a career high 17 rebounds against he was the first men's builder to black player to be honored doing so this season. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrese Searles. Let's have a round of applause for this
Welcome back to LTSN, the second of our doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon. Senior day for the Blue Devils. Devontae Miles, Ty Searles, and Dalen Blakely honored before the game. The starting five for the Blue Devils going up against Rochester for the second time this season. They defeated the Warriors 79-75 on January 2nd. There's a tip, and it'll go in favor of Ty Searles, the WAC's leading scorer. And this Lawrence Tech team trying to extend a season-long 3-game winning streak to 4 in a row. There's an early feed to Blakely. And Ivanovic will trigger from deep. That's off the mark. Starting lineup for Rochester, Khalil Gracie and Cash Blackwell, along with Campbell, Cartwright, and Nafso. This team has 4 double-digit scores. They can light it up with the best of them. Joined by Chase Kaufman for the second time today. How's it going, Chase?
Good. I am excited for this one. We had a good matchup last game with the women's, and I'm ready for another good matchup here with the guys.
The Rochester Warriors are hoping for revenge. The women were able to defeat the Blue Devil women in our first matchup of the day. Quick turnover there from Searles and the Blue Devils, and Rochester will slow it up a bit. Now here's a 3 from Cartwright. Their leading scorer. That's around and off, and Searles will get it up to Carter France. A quick turnover in the backcourt.
Wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. Josh Pickens kind of holding his hands on his head there after that turnover, and certainly would merit a reaction like that. Not the best turnover there, but lucky it's in the early going. They got off to a bit of a sloppy start last Saturday against Lourdes, but were able to bounce back quickly and did not look back after they took control of that one. It was essentially a wire-to-wire finish against Lourdes. They were very satisfied with that one.
Oh yeah, and that's one of my keys to the game. They've got to stay focused early. They have to win this first half, or at least be confident coming into it. In the last 4 games, they lost the first half by a combined 69 points. They've lost 162-93. When they played Madonna a few weeks ago, they lost the first half 46-16, and they ended up actually winning the second half. They've got to keep this game close here in this first half to have a chance in the second half. They do not want to play catch-up basketball. That's not fun.
Been a very resilient team, a team that has the ability to do that, but Chase, like you said, not what you want to do on any given day. There's Searles, cut off there. He's got back-to-back sensational performances that we'll get into throughout the afternoon. 36 and then a 38-point game last week, set his career high and a program record. There's an easy bucket at the other end. In transition, head coach Josh Pickens told me before the game that this team has to play good transition defense this afternoon. An easy bucket there for the Warriors, and the Blue Devils will chat with 17:53 to go in this opening half. A 4-2 start for the Warriors on the road. Welcome back to LTSN. A 4-2 start for the Warriors on the road here. Second of our doubleheader on LTSN. Miles.
Going back to the staying focused early. Coach always said anytime they've lost the first half, it's typically because they just haven't been focused, and that's what it looks like for the first couple of baskets here. And I think I really like that early timeout call right there. Get this team back in focus and win this first half.
It's a very young team. Most of the time they have 8 freshmen active. Here's another one of those freshmen, Jalen Bethel, perhaps the most key freshman out of them all. He's been a step up at the power forward / center position really from anything that LTU has had in the modern era of this program. Freshman from Columbus, Ohio, one of 2 Columbus, Ohio natives. Isaiah Cumberland will come off the bench. He's another freshman. Bethel had 15 points last Saturday versus Lourdes. Had a double-double in the first meeting with Rochester. Unsuccessful at the line there. Cartwright with the ball right now. He is a lethal scorer. There's a few of them on this team. A fall away, one-legged jumper from the senior Cash Blackwell, he averages 13.8 a game to go along with 7.2 rebounds.
Yeah, there are a lot of scorers on this team. They've got 3 of the top 20 scorers in the WAC. I asked Coach before the game if they were going to focus on any individual guy itself. He said no, they just got to focus on the entire team. There's way too many scorers to be focusing on just one guy, and they're already showing why. Cartwright
running the floor there, and head coach Josh Pickens in the face of his group on senior day. It's an 8-2 start for the Warriors. Peter Agba getting set to check in for the first time rather, along with Isaiah Cumberland. Searles, contested J. Ty Searles joined the 1,000-point club last week in just 2 seasons. Transferred from ONCC a couple of years ago, and he has torn up the WAC stage. But meanwhile, Rochester is tearing up the start to this game. It's a 10-2 opening for the Warriors on the road. 16-12 to go in the first half. Couldn't have dreamt of a better start for Rochester. Head coach Josh Pickens and his squad will go back to the drawing board. Welcome back to LTSN. Searles, Cumberland, Miles, Bethel, and Ivanovic on the floor for the Blue Devils. Looking to stem the tide out of the break. We'll see what head coach Josh Pickens can draw up. It's not a good start. Searles open for 3. There it is to halt that run. It was 8-0 over the past 134. Driving there was Cannon Campbell. Thought he was going to take the 3 at first, but then got fouled on the baseline.
Carter France going to check back in. It looks like Devontae might have gotten hit in the nose or something there off a foul.
Oh, yeah. Straight to the bench. Appears to be all right. Not getting looked at by the trainer. Cartwright tries to stay hot. Couldn't. Searles looking for 2 in a row. Khalil Gracie, another player in double figures for this team, finds Peter Agba. Couldn't finish there. Ty Searles, 6'3" senior. Nice cut, Ivanovic, wraps it around, kicks it around. It's France from 3. Blue Devils off to a 1-for-4 start from deep. Nice job to stand up at the rim there by Cumberland. Defensive battle over the last few possessions. Cumberland.
We're talking about Searles joining that 1,000-point club, and I like what I see right there. My second key to the game, I want to see what others on this team can do. When you're playing a good team, you got to make sure you're a full-rounded team. You can't just focus on one guy. Good teams will double-team Searles if they have to. Obviously, Searles is the best player on the team, but you got to remember you got 4 other guys that can do stuff, and I want to see what these guys can do here tonight. You don't want to start seeing double teams on Searles, crushing him, and then nobody else able to perform.
That's true. This is a team that doesn't quite have the ability yet to go really deep into their bench because they are so young. But these other guys, France, Bethel, Cumberland, Ivanovic.
That's a nice possession right there.
Oh, yeah. Miles checks back in. Miles in the starting lineup for the 9th straight game. Dalen Blakely was in the starting lineup for the majority of the, I would say, over half of the season, and he went down with an elbow injury. Insert Miles, who was a starter in the beginning of his career, years 1 through 3. He accepted the new role and flourished in it. No surprise that he is now flourishing back in the starting lineup. Here he is. Get it back to Ivanovic, who let it slip out of his hands. But the Blue Devils have clawed back here. It was a 10-2 start for the Warriors, and now it's 10-7.
Searles going to come back in now. Quick break.
Miles right back out. Nafso, he finds a cutting Cartwright. Cartwright with an early 4. They distribute the scoring so well on this team. They're shooting 50% in the early going, 6 of 12. Blue Devils are just 3 of 9. They'll run Searles off a screen. France goes away from it to Cumberland. Cumberland bounces, nice pass.
France now 0 for 3 from the three-point line.
As a team 0 for 5. Here's a 3 the other way. That'll go out of bounds. Already almost halfway through this opening half. Miles once again checks back in. LTU on a 2-minute scoring drought.
A lot of substitutions early on here.
Interesting, kind of rolling the lineups around. Blue Devils not off to the most complete start.
Coach Picks, you know, he definitely wants to get the most out of every possession.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, very, very hard pass there from Searles.
Too hot to handle. Those two are really good friends off the court. And they have really developed a chemistry playing with each other over the last couple of seasons. They were definitely the 2 leaders last year and definitely the 2 leaders this year. Honored before the game, and rightfully so. Both put in an extreme amount of work in the offseason, and that has translated over to what has been a milestone year. Feels like every game we're saying the Blue Devils have a chance at this or have achieved that or might be able to do this. And today that milestone could be going above 500 in February for the first time in the modern era of this program.
Bit of a late foul call there. It's going to send Wilson to the line. Just a 60% shooter from the line. Mentioned last game, LTU defeated Rochester 79-75 in that one. It was back on the 2nd of January, starting out the new year. Searles led the way, 25 points, played all 40 minutes too.
Wow. Probably not the last time he'll do that this season.
No, it will be not.
Rochester is leading this all-time series 4 games to 1. Blue Devils are hoping to claw back in quite a few all-time series records this season. Having a record-setting season, most wins in program history. Miles on the pump and the finish.
Like to see it. If I had to guess the next players to step up after Searles, I would have to say Miles. Miles is such a good leader. You could see it on and off the court. I could definitely see him being a good scorer here today. Oh
yeah, and there he is chasing down the board, something he does so well. A little over 7 rebounds per game for Miles. And back comes Searles with Bethel getting set to check in. That's the second miscommunication in the pass from Searles to France, actually, in this first half. A couple of mistakes that you can't afford late in WAC play. Jason Rush Jr. here with you alongside Chase Kaufman. Second of our doubleheader. Pleasure to be with you on either Facebook or YouTube.
Glad to be here.
Games will stay archived on those platforms. You can catch the highlights after the game on the various LTU Athletics social media channels. Catch the highlights from the Women's Senior Day as well on LTU Women's Basketball Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We have all the coverage for you. LTU Sports Report every Monday on Fox Sports Detroit at 4:30 p.m. We'll have highlights both of these games next Monday as we get a travel call there. Excellent persistence defensively, Chase.
Very aggressive in the paint there. I like it.
Rochester just one of their last 7 now from the field after they got off to a pretty decent start.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like LTU should be down just 5. It seems like they've had so many turnovers, haven't gotten many shots off. It seems like they should be down 10 right now, but their defense has been staying pretty steady when it's not in transition. Get a no call there.
What a board from Bethel, who puts it up and in off the glass.
Bethel, definitely another candidate to step up as that second leader.
Certainly looking for him as an all-WAC freshman honoree when this season comes to a close. There's a jumper and a foul called. Khalil Gracie, one of 4 players on this team averaging double figures. Only 3 other teams can say that. Cornerstone, Michigan Dearborn, and Indiana Tech. Only other teams with 4 players Would average over 10 a game. Gracie's super efficient as well, 48% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. Now at the free throw line, that's where it dips off a bit, 60%.
Interesting. Typically, I know the line that a lot of players like to shoot for, especially in the NBA, is that 90, 50, 40 line. 90 at the line, 50 in the field, and then 40 from beyond three.
Yep.
Very tough to get to, but it's just a goal, you know?
Steve Nash-esque.
Oh, yes.
Bethel spins. He's winning that battle early on against Federico Gallinari. That's 6'7" versus 6'7", but Bethel, he looks calm and in command down in the post.
Gallinari, brother of Neo Gallinari. I'm not sure who he plays for now. I know he used to play for the Clippers.
Yeah, well, he definitely had some excellent years with Denver.
Oh, yeah, yep, Denver. Injuries kind of cost him a couple seasons. I knew that because I like to take him on DraftKings every now and then.
Chase is the DraftKings expert.
Oh, yes.
Gallinari is from Italy, as well as obviously Danilo Gallinari is. Federico Gallinari is from Milano. Miles jumper, no, but chase down his offensive board. This is what he does so well.
Coach Pickens loves that. You love the aggressiveness there.
That really epitomizes his game right there. Missed the three, but run it down as hard as you possibly can with as much effort as you possibly can. Get fouled and have a chance to cut back into this lead. It's up to 7 now for Rochester, 20-13. A little over halfway through the first half. Packed house inside of the Riddler for this Saturday afternoon edition of LTU basketball. Plenty of families in the house. Excellent to see all the women after that first game get to embrace with their families, before the game. Such a special day, senior day. We actually do have another home game, though, just to let people know. Next Wednesday versus Cornerstone. That'll be Pink Day, technically. Senior Day was done on Saturday because you want to get these families in here. Best day for travel, obviously. This is a college. People don't necessarily live locally, so you know, it's great to see all the families in attendance. It is a packed house. Biggest crowd of the season on hand. But the Blue Devils hoping to get a win here. Meanwhile, staying hot, Rochester. These Warrior teams were swept on January 2nd at their place, Garth Pleasant Arena. Meanwhile, Rochester up 8, and the women Warriors were able to defeat the women Blue Devils earlier today. Searles looking to stem the tide. That's a tough J. Contested well by Cannon Campbell, but Devontae Miles.
Miles now at 6 points today. Yeah, we're talking about senior day and how much it means to all these guys. It kind of puts it all into perspective, you know. You've been here for 4 years now. You had 4 years in high school playing basketball. And for a lot of these guys, this is going to be it.
Yeah.
The thing they've loved for the first 20 to 25 years of their life, it's about to end. So, you know, they want to get this out on a good note.
You wonder how you play through those emotions as well in the beginning of a game. Miles called for a charge there. Speaking of obstacles, this team has gone through obstacles a lot of teams in the WAC have over the past couple of weeks with the polar vortex hitting us a couple of weeks ago. Temperatures dropped as low as -40 with the wind chill, so they had to postpone the Michigan Dearborn game, which will be played in a couple of days on Monday. It's a quick turnaround. You never play a game on a Monday, really. You're just not used to it, and you have to coming up against a good Michigan Dearborn team that we saw on this floor earlier this season. And speaking of Ty Searles, who's defending Cannon Campbell here, Searles had an unforgettable moment in that game, hitting the game winner. It was a 66-65 win over the Michigan Dearborn Wolverines.
That was a good one.
But then this week, Aquinas, you're supposed to play them on Wednesday. Power issues at their arena. Rescheduled for the next day, Thursday, still power issues. So now you have to play them on the final day of the season. It's going to be 5 games in 10 days to wrap up this year for the Blue Devils heading into the WAC tournament as they are vying for their first ever bid to the conference tournament. Cannon Campbell with a runaway to the cup there. It's 25-17 now. But obstacles over this final 5 games of the season, as you aren't going to get much rest, you aren't going to get much practice. It's tough, but they've been in a bit of limbo. Talked to some of the guys on Wednesday of earlier this week, and they were upset that they didn't get to play on Wednesday. They kind of threw off the schedule, and you could hear it in the voice of both coaches. They wanted to play. You don't want to prep for a team, then find out that you're not going to be able to play them. So that's been rough over the past couple of days.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting. I mean, typically they've been playing Wednesdays, Saturdays, a few games sprinkled in here and there on Fridays.
Yeah.
And then you got to go out and play 5 games in 10 days. It's not easy. And then you think the NBA, they play 82 games in a short 6-month span. You know how much of a toll that's got to be on them?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that last night, and what's the hardest sport, or what sport takes a toll on you the most? And basketball has got to be up there. I mean, 82 games, most of them on just 1 day's rest.
Oh my gosh,
It amazes me how some people play 35 to 40 minutes a game.
A lot of 3 and 4s, a lot of back-to-backs, travel.
Oh yeah.
Getting into hotels at 4 a.m.
France from 3.
Fouls from 3. Yep.
Knocked down hard.
The Blue Devil fans are really upset on the previous possession because they thought Bethel was fouled. You could hear the slaps from up here. We broadcast we broadcast the games up above the bleachers that are somewhat pictured in your screen, and you could hear the slaps throughout this stadium that is packed. So somewhat of maybe a makeup call there, but definitely a foul.
Got a few other games going on in the men's basketball WAC conference. Indiana Tech's at Aquinas today. Cornerstone taking on Concordia. UNOH at Lourdes, and Madonna is going to play at U of M Dearborn right now. Get you some updates on those later in the second half. Meanwhile, for the Blue Devils, they're going to take on the Wolverines of U of M Dearborn on Monday. And then, as you said, they're going to play in that pink game against Cornerstone on Wednesday.
Cornerstone is the top team in the conference. And right now, Cap Wilson and company are raining the threes down. They hit 10 a game. That leads the WAC. Josh Pickens touched on that before this game, saying we have to defend the perimeter. 28-20 now, 6:02 to go in this first half. Rochester up. Cumberland, Searles, Bethel, France with the ball, looking for Bethel. But an excellent denial from Peter Agba. A lot of strength on strength down there. They just can't get the entry. Peter Agba with a brilliant defensive possession. That's going to go back to the Warriors. Full timeout called by Josh Pickens. 28-20, the Rochester lead with 5:48 to go in the opening half. You're watching Blue Devil basketball on LTSN. Welcome back to a packed Don Riddler Fieldhouse on a Saturday afternoon of college basketball. Jason Ross Jr., Chase Kaufman, second of our doubleheader on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and Facebook page. Pleasure to be with you once again. Our 14th men's broadcast of the season. Our 30-game package starting to wind down, but the Blue Devils are hoping to heat up late in the year. They're on a season-high 3-game winning streak. Here's a shovel to Peter Agba. He goes up. Searle soars in for the board.
Agba's a big dude, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. Muscular build. I mean, that's going to be tough to handle. Watch that matchup between him and Bethel. There's Agba.
You really don't realize how big these guys are until you're on the court with them.
Yeah.
I was on the court for a Pistons game one time, and it was against the Cavs, and LeBron was there. I don't. He's what, 6'6"? You got to be in between that height or something.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. You never really think about it, so you're actually there.
Incredible body structure, size, build, a lot of work that goes into that, obviously, but makes us feel pretty short.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at the point guards in the NBA, they're all, 6'1", 6'2", and you're like, oh, he's short. And then you go up to him, he's still pretty tall.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, here's Agba at the line.
Oh, yeah. All-Star game coming up next weekend in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Giannis Antetokounmpo's hand size?
I've heard about it. I did not see it.
Oh, man, they do comparisons. He'll hold his hand up to, like, other regular people, I guess.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's amazing, just the aesthetics of that picture when you look at his hand versus the majority of other people on this planet. He is an athlete.
Bethel for a travel here.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, my favorite comparison is when, you've seen NBA star go and throw out the first pitch in an MLB game, and their hand essentially covers the entire ball.
Yeah, not easy. Guys going from sport to sport.
France lost him on the switch there. Poor communication there from the Blue Devils.
Second triple from Cap Wilson. Davis and Michigan native makes it a 14-point game. This is a 9-0 run. Blue Devils in desperate need of a bucket. They're 0 for the last 4. There's a steal. Back comes Nafso.
Wouldn't be surprised to see timeout. Yep, here it is.
16-point game, 4:23 to go in the first half. Rochester in control, in command. 5 minutes to go. It'll be an important 5 minutes for the Blue Devils in this first half. Welcome back to LTSN. 36-20, Rochester lead on the road. Blue Devils defeated the Warriors 79-75 in the first matchup. We've seen a lot of games in the WAC this year where the first game just does not match up with the second matchup. This is another turnover.
Searles with an away from the ball foul. A lot of hand checking going on there, but got Searles with it. Not the first thing you see after coming out of a timeout.
An 11-0 run for Clint Peasant's crew. He told me about the tradition of this Rochester program before this game started, talked about the fact that they've only had 2 coaches in the history of this program, and it's him and his dad. So it's been a family-run, well-run Warrior team over the past couple of seasons. Told me to look at, the defensive field goal percentage over the past couple of years. That's where he wants this team to find their identity. And right now, they're holding LTU to 1 of 9 from the three-point line and 7 of 21 from the field. Rochester coming off a 66-63 win over Aquinas. Coach Pleasant felt that they made enough plays late in that game. They're making plays now in transition. That's Cartwright from Fissau. It's 38-20.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about as we started the game, of what they did not want to happen. They did not want to be down double digits going into that second half, and they're already down 18 here. They're going to have to fight back hard.
This is a mystifying first half, but it's been an up and down year for the most part. Although it has been very successful, it has been up and down in nature. You chalk that up to the youth at times. But Chase, this one is pretty tough to chalk up in the early goings. It just looks like Rochester is in control, similar to the way that LTU was in control in their last game against Lourdes from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a weird one because you'll see at times you think, okay, here they go. They've got it. They got the momentum now. But every time, as soon as they do that, they're going to stop at the defensive end, come over, turn the ball over, and then Rochester comes right back down and scores, just like this. Yeah, looking at the stats, one thing that pops out to me is Rochester has 2 turnovers right now in 17 minutes. That is very, very good right now. Lawrence Tech with 9. Also only shooting 11% from three-point line, 1 for 9. Miles comes down with the rebound. Now with Searles out.
Cartwright almost
lead it. Yeah. We got another turnover.
Maybe see if we can cut this down to 15 going into the half. France open. He hits it.
They needed that one. LTU's been moving the ball so well right now, but the perimeter defense of Rochester is just even more impressive right now. It seems like every time LTU makes a good pass, someone there for Rochester is going to take it away. You got to be careful still, even though they're passing well.
Does that not sound just like the first game we had today between
it
the
does.
Oh, wow. So that Carter France 3 snapped a 13-0 run. But Rochester will go right back to the line with Cartwright. And they leave everybody back to get ready defensively. To 23. This place is shocked. Rochester bench, only side providing the noise at the moment. Freshman Sana Siswa, who did well coming in for Cumberland last week after Cumberland suffered an eye injury. Miles, meanwhile, showing off the hustle. Ball spilling around just inside the half-court line. Francis fouled.
Quite the scuffle there.
Yeah. That was another miscommunication, though, that started that, with the ball getting loose. They look pretty young right now.
Yeah. Young might be an understatement, too.
Blue Devils at 12-12 on the season. Rochester comes in 14-3 overall, 7-10 in the WAC. They are 7th in the WAC, 1 game back of LTU. Blue Devils are currently 6th. In the conference. Top 8 make the conference tournament. The Blue Devils have never made the conference tournament. Hoping to continue what has been this season of milestones. France turning the corner and getting fouled. I asked Coach Pickens before the game what he thinks about the fact that when this season started, preseason polls came out, the writers picked Rochester to finish 4th in this conference. As I mentioned, they're now 7th. They picked the Blue Devils to finish last in this conference. And I don't know if you can blame them at that point, just because you don't know what this team is going to be. They have so many freshmen, so many young players. What are they going to do? Typically, when you have a lot of freshmen, that doesn't bode well for you. But this team has absolutely proved the writers wrong. They're now 6th in the conference, as I said. Rochester's 7th, despite the score today, 40-24. But I asked Coach Pickens what that means for this program, the fact that his team was picked last behind the team that they're playing today. And now, on February 9th, they're ahead of the team that was picked to finish ahead of them by a pretty large margin. And he told me, you know, it's a testament to our guys. We still want to stick to our game today. But it certainly is a testament to this program. And right now, I know he would probably say that they need to get back to playing their game. And when he says that, he typically means getting on the glass, playing defense, not allowing second chance opportunities.
Staying focused, especially.
Yep. Cartwright. Back out here.
Good defensive possession there. Just a minute left. Down 15. I'd like to see a possession here. Nice basket, and then come down, stop them, maybe get another possession, good shot in.
You get 2 buckets, you could cut this to 10.
Right, yeah.
France.
Gives to Carter.
Yeah.
He was open for a second there. Nice drive there in the paint, though, by Bethel.
Nonetheless, still a 13-point game. And you can still get a stop and have a shot clock. 2 for 1. Cartwright glides to the cup.
Right past him.
A little too easy.
Coach Pick calling out the play for the final possession, or what most likely would be the final possession of this first half. Just 15 seconds left.
A lot of sweat out there. A few players pulling on their shorts. I think fatigue may be playing a role. Most of these guys have been on the court for a while. 6 seconds. France from deep. Sissowa skies for the board. Goes up and gets fouled. Able to redeem himself from that last defensive sequence on the offensive end. Chance to make it a 13-point lead going into the half for Rochester. Sissowa, just a 25% free throw shooter on the season. Hasn't taken many. Blue Devils trying to desperately find something to ignite this crowd. The women found that going into the half. Blue Devils not to the same extent. Here's a half-court heave that comes up off the front rim from Logan Elling. To no avail, but still a 42-28 lead for Rochester going into the half. Not many expected this.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. So head coach Josh Pickens and company will chat it over. We'll go to the break on LTSN. You're watching Blue Devil basketball on a Saturday afternoon edition. Welcome back into LTSN. Second half getting underway from the campus of Lawrence Tech University. Starting five out on the floor, same as the one started for Rochester. There's a quick three. Starting the second half just like how they started the first. Hot from distance with Gallinari, Gracie, Blackwell, Elling, and Wilson. France, Miles, Sisawai, Ashbury, and Bethel out there for the Blue Devils. Cartwright, skip it, little touch pass, looking to go 2 for 2. Off the mark, here comes Searles with Bethel, France, Ivanovic, and Miles.
Definitely got to limit those open shots out there on the edge.
A couple of quick open looks. We'll see if they can tidy that up on the defensive end here. 15-point game. Blackwell. Gracie a bit over anxious. And a travel call. The Blue Devils piece together a run. They're still within striking distance if you can do that.
I'd like to see them try to get a few more open looks at three right now. It looks like they're trying to be a little too aggressive. I know I love when the people are aggressive in the paint, but I haven't seen them take a lot of threes, and I haven't seen them make a lot of threes.
Searles on the dribble drive there.
Then again, if you can do that all game, go for it.
Yep. Searles oftentimes can wake up in the second half. He has 5 points and just 2 of 8 shooting. Coming off back-to-back 35-point-plus performances. There's another triple, though. Rochester stays hot.
Spreading the ball so well right now.
Nafso buried that one. Bethel trying to track down him.
Almost had it. Just kept rolling away from him. Down 16. Without possession now.
Everyone's been hot from distance. They'll stay that way. It's a three-point party for Cash Blackwell, the senior, leading this Rochester team. The Warriors. Cartwright has 10. Blackwell now with 5. It's a 6-0 run.
Well, it looks like we know what coaches for Rochester's message was in the half. Let's take some threes.
Ivanovic tries to answer back and does. His three-point numbers have been down this season. It was 39% from the three-point stripe last year, just 30% this year, has dealt with some ankle injuries. Right now the problem is the Blue Devils are dealing with some issues on the defensive end.
Yeah, they're not focused defensively right now, though. They get let up in the paint. Had a lot of good passes outside the perimeter. They've really got to focus, play some good man-on-man D right now.
It's a 4 or 5
there.
Yep. Miles getting to the cup there. It's a 4 or 5 start from the field for Rochester. That time in the paint, they're doing it inside and out.
Interesting, too, because LTU did have some help defense in that one, but he still drove the hole easy anyways.
France looking for back-to-back triples for LTU, off the mark there. Foul called on France at the other end. And then if it's not from the outside, it's on the inside. Head coach Josh Pickens told me before the game that defending the three-point shot was certainly a point of emphasis. Rochester has nailed 7 from distance. And they are 6 of 6 at the free throw line, a perfect 6 for 6 as a team. Heavy swap here. Perhaps a message from Josh Pickens. they need to talk things over. It's almost essentially a timeout, that lineup. Just completely swapped it out. So now it's Ashbury, Ballin, Logan Danaher, Isaiah Cumberland, and Sana Sissawa. A freshman 5 on the floor right now for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, definitely not a look they're used to going to.
Nope, not at all, with 16:08 to go in the second half.
I guess this message is probably just, well, if you guys can't do it, I'll see if these guys can. We'll see what they do here.
Cumberland, Columbus, Ohio native. That went off the mark from Ballin. A lot of these guys have only taken probably under 10 shots on the season. Not a lot of experience, but getting some crucial experience here. Down 19. Cartwright slips, and timeout called, I believe. Yep, was indeed called a timeout by Rochester head coach Clint Peasant. Leading the charge in his 8th season. His crew is leading the charge on the floor right now, up 19 with 15:31 to go in the half. You're watching Blue Devil basketball on LTSN. A 56-37 lead for the Warriors on the road. They have silenced what was at one point today a raucous crowd here instead of the Riddler. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman. A hot shooting start for this Rochester offense. Cartwright slips again on the baseline with 5 on the shot clock. They'll have to trigger. Round and out that time from Gracie. Here comes Arthur Ashbury. He's actually perfect from the field on the season. 3 of 3 from the field and 2 of 2 from deep. Another turnover there, though. Hasn't been the senior day that we envisioned. But still plenty of basketball to go.
12 turnovers for LTU as compared to just 3 for Rochester right now. 3 in 25 minutes of play is very impressive. And they've capitalized off Lawrence Tech's turnovers. Now 16 points. Zagla hits the floor there.
So out of your picture, it'll be a large swap coming back in at the next break.
Oh, yeah. Starting 5, set to come back on. I like that move there, though, by Coach.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely interesting. Josh Pickens is a really smart coach. There's a reason why this culture has changed around. If you don't know, and you're just looking at the score today, this team has set a program record for wins. They have done things such as starting 2-0 in conference play for the first time in school history. Today they had a chance to get above 500 for the first time in February in school history. Best record in February in the modern era. These freshmen, there's 8 of them usually active on the roster, and they have come in and made a huge impact. Here's one that has done that, Carter France. Spoke to Carter after last Saturday's win. It was a much more pleasant mood than probably there is on the bench right now. And I spoke to Carter because he typically plays, I think, like Steve Nash. There's another turnover. And has a Steve Nash-esque game. So I asked him, did you watch a lot of Steve Nash growing up? And he said he did. But his favorite player right now to watch is actually another son by the name of Devin Booker.
All right.
So that's not a bad choice either.
Yeah, for sure. Devin Booker, quite the shot taker.
Oh,
takes
my
a lot of shots.
Had that 70-point game last year against the Celtics.
Yep. Speaking of NBA, so who's your team this year, NBA?
Ooh, I like the Bucks.
The Bucks, all right.
Man, their defense, they just added Mirotic and Nikola Mirotic. And, you know, they added Brook Lopez in the offseason, which is just, I mean, his shooting at 7 foot tall is out of this world. Right. So obviously I haven't spoken about Giannis Antetokounmpo yet. We spoke about his hands earlier in the broadcast, actually. But he is incredible, having an MVP-type campaign again. I think he's going to win that award eventually. Almost another turnover in the backcourt here. Miles able to corral it, takes a spill and gets fouled. I like the Bucks. Warriors, you can't go against them. I mean, it's a 5.
For sure.
The starting lineup is 5 All-Stars, so that's tough. I'm not saying that the Bucks are the favorite. I'm just saying maybe the favorite out of the East.
Yeah.
But I really am looking forward to what could be maybe a Toronto versus a Milwaukee Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah.
And Denver, look out for them in the West. Are they old enough yet, though?
That's what I was about to say. I like Denver. I don't think they're going to take the win, but I like them. It's a weird team because they don't have that one player that's amazing. Jokic is definitely up there, but they've had a lot of injuries this year, too. Gary Harris has been injured. Jamal Murray hasn't played a full season. So I don't even know what it is about them, but they're second in the West right now, and somehow they have a good team. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's their coaching. I don't know if it's just great team chemistry, but there's something in that team that's propelling them to be second in the West somehow.
Like you said,
very good Western Conference.
My gosh. Like you said, outside of Jokic, there's not a lot of players that casual NBA fans would know the names of.
Right, yeah.
It's going to go back the other way in favor of the Blue Devils. Yep. It's going to spark some kind of an energy to resuscitate this team. It's 56-39 now with 12:58 to go in the second half.
Already been quick.
There have been flat performances at times for this team. I mean, most of the time, we're on a 3-game winning streak right now, but most of the time, you look at the schedule, it's been kind of maybe win, 2 in a row, maybe loss, maybe win, maybe loss, which has been a step up. And guys like Ty Searles, the seniors who were honored before the game, as Bethel, the freshman who will certainly grow into an unforgettable player for this program, will go to the line and try to tack on one more. I mean, they've changed the culture of this program. Bethel has worked really hard in practice. France has really worked hard in practice. So has everyone else. And, you know, these guys spoke at one point in the season about how, despite the losing last year, just a 4-win season last year, the team was 2-12 through 14 games. I mean, they were through 20 games, 4-20. This year, they're 12-12 through 24 games. My apologies, I meant to say they were 4-20 through 24 games last season. This year, they're 12-12 through 24 games. So it's been a turnaround. But, I mean, they said through the losing, even at that point in the season, it wasn't about really the win column, the loss column. It was about changing the culture and working hard in practice and working toward what they have now. But right now, trying to change things around on this end of the floor because it has been a flat performance, and I think Josh Pickens will tell you that. Plays just like that, right on cue. The drives, the second chances, never really have been in control of this one. That's been the difference today. Not as tight as the first time around. The Blue Devils won at 79-75. The positive in that one, according actually to Rochester head coach Clint Pleasant, he told me that it was simply coming down to the Blue Devils making shots. I mean, guys came up big in that one, and you look at the Blue Devil numbers. Searles finished with 25. They had 4 guys in double figures, 5 actually. Devontae Miles came off the bench and put up 12 in that one. And in this one, it just hasn't quite been the same. Searles having one of his rougher outings, just 3 of 10, 1 of 4 from the field. Came in off back-to-back brilliant performances. One WAC Player of the Week as he knocks down that shot. Became the first player in program history to win a WAC Player of the Week. And a lot of people thought he should have won it last week actually as well when he put up 38. There's a giveaway. Chase 14-point game, 11:59 to go. Once again, the question remains, can you put together some sort of a run?
Yeah, and I think this is what they're best at. We talked about how they've been kind of stagnant in the first half in these last few losses. Now the second half's here. The bench is starting to get up in it. You saw them start to stand out. The crowd's starting to get in it. I think momentum is such a huge key for this team. I know it's kind of cliche and momentum's a huge thing, but for this team, I really see the momentum starting to rise.
Searles, the guy who just drove and got fouled there, can build up some momentum of his own. He can go on a 10-0 run by himself. We saw it against Michigan Dearborn, which will, as I said earlier, will be an unforgettable moment in his brilliant career as a Blue Devil.
For sure, and Coach Pickens probably said one of the most memorable quotes I've ever heard. He said, you know, if Searles is 1 for 20 in the game and he takes his next shot, I think he's going to be 2 for 21 in the next when he takes the next shot. Almost a huge poster dunk there. Did not fall, luckily. Yeah.
So, right there, as we were talking about Searles, that play that ended up in a free throw, that started way back to the defensive end when they defended Searles deliberately on that inbound because they knew the Blue Devils were running him off a screen towards the right wing corner, and then they had to loft it out high to Miles lofting a pass is obviously always dangerous. Tapped it back out, easy, fast break, going the other way, and free throw attempts for Cat Wilson. Able to snap a little scoring drought of over 4 minutes for Rochester.
Bonovich going to come back in. Still over 11 minutes left. Deficit still at 16.
Justin Nafso checks back in for Rochester, a guy who averages a shade under 14 points per game. Had 20 points. Oh yeah, had 20 points on January 5th versus LTU. Led the team in scoring last year. Here's Searles. He's leading the team in scoring this year. Bethel the board. Back out to Miles. Searles open, wants to reload, drives past the defender into the paint. That couldn't rattle down. Bethel the board, couldn't finish. Third chance, Miles fouled and one. The crowd erupts. What a sequence of effort.
That was about 4 offensive rebounds there.
Wow.
I thought they made a mistake at first when they got that first offensive rebound. Searles was still at the top of the key. Miles didn't see it in time. I thought he was going to give it right away. Took a second. Searles didn't have the time to get it off. Faked it and drove. That's what's put Miles to the line right now.
This isn't over yet. A lot of basketball to go.
Oh, no, definitely not.
This gets it to a 13-point game, but then you just need that kind of 7-0, 8-0 push. But it starts here, right now, and then at the defensive end is where you really have to turn things around.
Right, and I think a key to that is you got to space out their baskets. You know that you're not going to keep them scoreless for these last 10 minutes, but you got to hold them to a certain goal, a certain standard. Maybe whether it's 70 points when you get down to a minute. So let them only score a basket every 2 minutes. You're obviously not going to let them score at all the rest of the game, but you got to be confident that you can play defensively.
Cartwright. Just one field goal in the last almost 6 minutes for Rochester. This is LTU's window. Searles denied that time at the apex
by the old man.
Yeah, that is Peter Agba. 6'5". University of Akron transfer. Now he'll defend Bethel.
I really need to know how old he is.
Oh, God.
He looks about 10 years older at least than everybody else on the court.
Well, Searles starting to heat up a bit. His family is in the stands. Had a chance to meet his family before the game, and a very excellent family that he comes from. Very humble kid. Chalks it up to hard work. There's a foul on Cartwright.
Searles lost him in a bit of a pick. Had to come around him. Able to block it from the back, but must have gotten a little bit of hand on that one too. 10 minutes left, just down 11 now. A lot different from the 18-point deficit it was just a few minutes ago.
Approaching the halfway mark of this second half. It's a big free throw. If Williams would have got it back there, you're talking possibly cutting it down to single digits, going the other way.
Rochester electing not to have anybody down. So now that's okay. You're going to let them score some points. You just got to make sure they pace it out. You can't let them score 8 in a minute or 10 in 3 minutes. Got to keep it spaced out. And let's say hold them under 75 by the end of the game.
Searles couldn't get that to drop. Navigating his way in there. Searles has 30 in 3 of his last 4 games. But Cartwright's been hot. Agba the board. One battle down low there between Bethel and Agba.
Got a little lucky on that one too. Bethel didn't box out very hard. Luckily, Agba not able to put it back.
France, Miles. Working there against Gracie.
LTU looking for that open man. Can't find him right now.
Miles was open. He'll take the drive, the penetration, finishes, and the foul. Devontae Miles on senior day with a chance to make it a 10-point game.
That was key right there. You knew they were about to drive. Nobody was really playing much help defense. They were trying to get an open look out at the 3. but nobody budged playing with their guys on the right wing. So that gave Miles an easy lane to the basket.
We have a ball game. Timeout called, 62-51. The Rochester lead, 9:29 to go in the second half. We'll be right back on the other side of the breather. You're watching LTU basketball on LTSN. Capacity crowd at the Riddler on a Saturday afternoon edition of LT Basketball. Final Saturday home game of the season. We wind down the regular season. 5 games until the WAC first round begins on Wednesday, February 20th. Miles looking to complete the and one. He's had some really nice effort sequences in this half.
Completes the three-point play. 10-point game now, 9 minutes to go.
Plenty of time.
Rochester visiting fans started to get on their feet. They know where the momentum's going.
Cartwright versus Searles, top 2 scorers. Agba off front rim. Miles right on cue again.
I'd go right now.
Drops it back. 23 points per game. Ties Searles off the front rim. Heat check. Ivanovic couldn't handle it. Agba snares it. I think the crowd, the building might have blown off of this place if Searles would have knocked that down.
Oh, for sure. Got to hold them defensively here again. You got to get 2 for you, 1 for them.
That's waved off before the shot went up.
That's a surprising call there. That definitely would have counted in the NBA. No doubt.
Our NBA conversations continue on this Saturday afternoon. Might as well remind you to watch Thunder Rockets tonight. It's been a good matchup, Westbrook-Harden.
Another matchup, the Division I NCAA. You like any teams in NCAA right now? D1?
Let's see. I watched some of the Kansas game in the lobby earlier today. I believe they beat Oklahoma State. But, I mean, Tennessee is, as Searles shoots out of a cannon to the cup. Makes it a single-digit game. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, we have Michigan here. Michigan State on a bit of a slide now. Should be interesting down that final stretch of college basketball. Getting into that fun season of college hoops. February, March coming up. This is miscommunication. And Rochester capitalized it. Yep.
We've seen that so many times in the first half, and as they're gaining momentum, they did it again.
That was something that can certainly deflate your momentum. Not only in the first half, but we've seen that throughout the season for this Blue Devil team. Certainly a negative for them defensively. Searles. That's a tie-up.
Yep.
Going to stay with LTU.
Anyways, I know they won last year, but I still like Villanova, honestly. I know they're they're deep in the woods. They're definitely not as good as they were last year.
Didn't get off to a good start.
Yeah, they had a loss to Michigan. They lost to Kansas. They lost to Furman, somebody else, but they play at Marquette tonight, and I'm excited to watch that game.
You know, hot take here. Tennessee gets upset maybe in the second round.
I could see that. Kind of a young team. Not necessarily coming out of nowhere, but they haven't been this good in a lot of years.
Right.
I could definitely see that. Back to a 9-point game.
Nafso against France. Senior against freshman. Now here's a senior on senior matchup. They go down low. Here's Gracie off the front of the rim. Blue Devils with a chance to cut it down. 7:08 to go in the second half. Searles, stutter step, drive, nifty move. Blocked at the apex, though, by Agba. back the other way comes Rochester. Out of the reach of Gracie. Tracks it down. Blue Devils have to get back. They couldn't find the runner. Agba comes flying in. Back to the trailer, and they'll reset with Nafsa at the top. Driving in. They'll shovel to Agba. Pumps. Oh, wow. They're going to say, are we going to get a late call here and wave that off? I think the refs are going to come together. Coach Pickens pleading with the officials. Right now the scoreboard says 65-56.
It looks like they're going to count. I think what they're calling is that somebody tipped it on his way up, so he was bobbling it on his way back down. And I'm pretty sure Rochester's called a timeout there.
Yep. So now 67-56, back up to 11 after that bucket. 6:54 to go in the second half. Rochester up. Jason Ross Jr., Chase Kaufman, producer Ali Hadi, Desi Cook behind the camera for the second of our doubleheader. Winding down, 6:44 to go. Can the Blue Devils come up with a push? We've seen it. We've seen them do it on this home floor. Led by this man, Ty Searles, senior. He'll flip it over to the freshman, Carter France. Miles powering, pumping, up, second chance. Bethel, that's a foul.
Bethel's been quite a threat in the paint the second half. 7 for 7 from the field. 9 rebounds, 15 points. Quite the game for him. I guess he could be looked at as one of those players where I needed to see someone else do something rather than Searles. Searles isn't having himself a great game tonight, but Bethel stepped up nicely. 15 points, 9 rebounds.
He's played really well of late. Back-to-back 15-point games. Give him 16. Make it a 10-point game. Chance to make it a 9-point single-digit game. And notice that Peter Agba's on the bench right now, too. That's been causing the Blue Devils some problems. He's out.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, he was such a good rebounder when he was in the game.
Perhaps a breather. Looks pretty tired over there. Can the Blue Devils take advantage? Bethel, not typically an excellent free throw shooter, goes 2 for 2. So that's big again here. Khalil Gracie, senior from Bloomfield, Michigan, Morgan State transfer. Gets it over to Justin Knopfson, the Walled Lake native. Now the flip and the 3 from Blackwell. Long rebound. Those are tough to snag. Shovel, easy bucket there for Wilson.
Unfortunate bounce off that rim there.
Yep.
Those are the ones where it's unlucky. It's like an infield single.
Ah, gosh. And you
played it well. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. France, that's deep. That's really deep off the mark. Bethel almost
again.
had a board. France comes flying in, fouled. Hanging around here. France, a chance to make it a single-digit game again.
Still just 5 minutes left.
.71% free throw shooter from Dansville, Michigan. Won 3 of 8 for 11 points the last time the Blue Devils met up with Rochester. He was one of 4 players who finished with double figures in that game. High scoring affair. Blue Devils won at 79-75. Who can come up with the late game heroics on this Saturday afternoon? It'll start on this end of the floor. Agba back in against Bethel. Going to match up to watch. He gets the switch. So foul down low.
It's going to be on Searles there. Kind of threw Agba out of the way.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds weird to say. Threw Agba out of the way. I could not imagine anybody throwing this man out of the way.
No, I don't.
Pretty large.
So this is the bonus now for Agba. Just a 66% free throw shooter. Front end of the bonus.
Something that's definitely going to be looked at after the game is the turnovers and the points off turnovers. Lawrence Tech 14 turnovers compared to Rochester's 5. Lawrence Tech has allowed 18 points off those turnovers as well. And they've only had 4 points off of Rochester's turnovers.
8 on the shot clock for Searles. Calls for the clear out. Tries to turn the corner. Tries to step back. That's a tough angle shot. Pulled down by Justin Nafso. Nafso, his second board of the day. Agba has 11 boards, and he'll set the screen here for Nafso. Now he has a mismatch down low against France, but France doing a nice job on the denial, and Nafso will call it away. Just 7 on the shot clock here for Nafso. Bethel did well defensively. Just 2 for Cartwright. Doubles looking to push. Searles before the shot.
Wouldn't have counted anyways.
Yep.
So it looks like I'd have to assume 76 is probably going to win it. So if you can hold them to 76 or so right now, I think you got a decent shot. That's 16 points in a little over 4 minutes. It'll be tough, but you got to do what you got to do. You're down 10 still with 4 minutes left to play.
The Blue Devils are going to win this. You'd have to think that we're going to have to put up some pretty impressive defensive numbers down the final 5 minutes here, along with that offense.
Got a couple questions on the court, it looks like. Maybe checking to see if LTU is really in the bonus. No, he wasn't in shooting motion. They waved it off, but.
Yeah.
Coach Pickens not happy, whatever it is.
And the referee goes over and talks to head coach Clint Pleasant from Rochester. Clint Pleasant, an awesome guy to talk to as well in his 8th season.
Really had some respect for Coach Pickens and what he's been able to do with the Lawrence Tech team, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he said, "I can't tip my hat enough to him." That was his exact words, and he said it a couple of times. I mean, he talked about that first matchup, saying that he felt like every Lawrence Tech shot went in. Rochester adjusted this time around on the defensive side, and obviously in the beginning at least, it certainly felt like they did and controlled this game. The Devils pushed together some momentum in the 4th, but yeah, Chase, I mean, the momentum, the respect that Clint Pleasant gave for head coach Josh Pickens before that one was excellent. This is a Blue Devil team that was picked to finish last in the conference.
It's nice to know that not only as a school or as a team are all these fans realize the culture change that happened with the Blue Devils, but it's even showing off from other teams. He realized what kind of culture change just happened in a few years.
Oh yeah, the work is starting to become noticed.
All right, so it looks like Searles will be at the line. I'm not sure what all that was about, but.
Yeah, they sorted out all the paperwork. Took a minute.
Gets first on the 1-and-1.
After all of that.
Yeah. Ice the kicker.
Yeah.
Back to single digits, though.
Stopping a 3 could make it a 5-point game.
Even a 2, a 6-point game. A 6-point game sounds pretty good right now considering where they were at the end of the first half.
Oh, yeah.
Heck, even this 8-point game sounds good. All right, shot won't count, waved off. We've seen a lot of those today, haven't we? A lot of waved off shots. I guess that comes with a lot of drives to the hole.
Yep, both teams in the bonus now. So free throws the rest of the way.
Rochester still not putting anybody down low to grab a rebound on a miss.
Lawrence Tech has a lot of speed in transition, so probably a good tactic. Armand Cartwright goes 2 for 2. Chase, no need to rush here.
That's actually exactly what I was thinking about. I wouldn't say no need to rush. I would definitely pick up the pace a little bit. 4 minutes turns into a minute very, very quickly. And if you're still down 8 with a minute left, then you get into that weird foul trouble. Do you foul right away? Do you wait for another possession? I definitely think you got to pick up the pace here, especially after taking that last miss right there.
Now it begins to feel like you really need these defensive stops. Agbo, mid-range J. That's big from the big man.
Bethel was a good 3-4 feet away from him on that shot. It looks like he thought he was going to drive, and he just pulled up.
Yeah, or simply just not respecting that jumper from Agbo. Miles called for the charge, and the momentum is turning.
Going to get a timeout here from Coach P.
Much needed, 74-62. Rochester lead, bonus the rest of the way, and the Warriors have the ball when we come back on LTSN. .23 to go in the second half. A 12-point game. Seen crazier things happen in college basketball this year, but you need a stop right here, right now.
We talked about the balanced team that Rochester is. They've got a guy with 10, a guy with 8, another guy with 8, 14, 5, 15, 14.
Gosh.
They're such a good team at spreading the ball around.
Rochester 7th in the WAC, LTU 6th. Top 8 teams make the conference tournament. Rochester just a game back of LTU. Brothers are a game and a half back of 5th. Putting his stamp on this one, Khalil Gracie.
That one hurt. Ivanovic played pretty solid defense there, had a hand in his face. Just made a good shot there.
Perhaps a dagger?
Could be. Up to 77 now from the 75 I said it would take to win, so
yeah,
we'll see if that pays or if that goes through. Bethel doing such a good job though in the paint right now.
Oh my gosh. His potential has been on display every game that we've watched, at least at some point during the game, win or loss. He is going to be really, really good for this program.
You know what I'm really excited to do is we got the game on next Wednesday against Cornerstone.
Yep.
Cornerstone's got Sam Vanderslice kid who's, every time I go on the WAC website, it's Player of the Week.
He's on there, yeah.
It's 2020, so.
Formidable foe.
I'm kind of excited to see how he matches up against Bethel. We'll see what happens.
I'd love to see. I haven't seen him in person yet.
Me either.
So I'm looking forward to that. Wednesday, arguably the WAC's 2 best players on the men's side going head-to-head, and Ty Searles and Vandersloot. It'll be right here on LTSN. Jason and I will have the call again. We'll follow the women's game against Cornerstone. The women lost to Cornerstone in the semifinals of last year's WAC tournament, and they certainly got their revenge in the first meeting this season with the Golden Eagles. absolutely dominated them at their place. And we'll hope to do that again at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that on LTSN, LTU Athletics YouTube channel and Facebook page. Catch all the highlights on the Fox Sports Detroit LTU Sports Report every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports Detroit and airing throughout the week. You can also catch it on YouTube where the episodes stay archived.
That one hurts. Fresh shot clock, 2 minutes left now, down 13.
Yeah, that might
definitely
have
had to get that rebound.
Yep.
Bethel going to come back in. Didn't even realize he was out.
We'll catch all the highlights of this one as well on the various social media channels, LTU Athletics Twitter page, Facebook page. We'll interview head coach Josh Pickens and a couple of players after the game as the threes continue to rain and the Rochester fans are up. And that should do it with 90 seconds to go. Searles made a nice push at the end of this one.
He did. That's just the kind of leader he is.
Yep.
Never gives up. Still won't give up. Still a minute and 20 seconds left, down 16, but he's not going to give up.
So much heart. Sometimes you run into a good defense, though.
Right.
And that's what they did in the first half. You have to give credit to the game plan that the Rochester coaching staff drew up. I mean, you rewatch the first half of this game. They were in control, just controlling the tempo. And that's what LTU looked like last Saturday when I called the game here against Lawrence, but script was flipped today.
It was weird, too, because it was like in the first half, they were really dominating the paint, and then all of a sudden, right to start the second half, they were spread out, they were shooting those threes.
Yep.
Just a lot of space. LTU starting to press here. Rochester breaks it easy.
Pretty move. Cartwright is special.
Oh, yeah. Got to be a quick turnaround, however, for the Blue Devils.
Monday. No, not much time to rest. Michigan Dearborn. In Dearborn. Tough opponent. Has definitely a team that has slid down from where they were a season ago.
Bethel's still holding his, looks like he was holding his right thigh. Not sure if that's why he came out. He came out for a minute or so, just a couple minutes ago. Got to look at the trainer, but he came back in right away. Wonder if that's going to affect him at all.
Yeah.
Heading into the rest of the season.
Talk about that quick turnaround with something like a thigh injury. Maybe you go lighter tomorrow. A lot of these guys will go lighter than they would typically on a Sunday.
Yeah. LTU still with the press. Rochester knows how to break it, though. Less than a minute to go here. 14-point deficit now. Kind of upsetting too, because we saw flashes at points where, you know, they were down 7 at one point. I think that was the best deficit they had here in the second half, and there was just there was too many switches, too many bad shots, too many good shots for Rochester to give them credit. Searles still working.
Shot clock is off now. Broadcast is brought to you by Yellow Flag Productions. We'll be back at it on Wednesday, as mentioned. Cornerstone coming to town, 6 p.m. Eastern Time start. And then the men will play at 8 Eastern Time. Double bonus for Lawrence Tech now in the dwindling moments here. It's all cosmetic now.
Coach P going to put in a few bench players to finish out the game.
Ballin and Ashbury. Ballin from Port Huron High School, 6'6" freshman. And Ashbury, the 5'10" freshman guard from Warren, Michigan, and Casino High School. Rochester can just wind this one down now. Their visiting fans will stand up. The bench begins to clap. Gracie had 16. He has the ball right now, 6 of 10. Wilson with 14. Nafso had 15. Cartwright had 16. They lived up to the story that they have written for themselves all season long. Spread the wealth and do it on the defensive end.
Of course. I mean, hats off to them. They played a solid game. They came in here with a game plan. They followed that game plan, switched up the game plan at the start of the second half, made those threes, were killer in the paint, and they forced turnovers, and they made LTU pay off those turnovers.
WAC race gets tighter. Blue Devils' #1 goal still has to be to finish in the top 8, make a WAC tournament for the first time in program history. Still in the 6th spot. They'll drop to 12 and 13, 7 and 9 in the WAC, while the Warriors improved to 8 and 10 in the WAC, 15 and 13 on the season. Signing off from the Riddler. It was a pleasure to have you with us for this doubleheader. Producer Ali Hadi, behind the camera Desi Cook, Jason Ross Jr., alongside Chase Kaufman. Have a wonderful Saturday night